Have you been wanting to or needing to make a temporary electric fence for your horse, or maybe even a permanent one, and you need to put it up quickly and don't want to spend a lot of time, effort, and money? So I'm going to talk through what I normally do for that and what I did to set this one up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the camera and I'll show you what I've been doing here. So my family and I are actually traveling right now. We are in another state, working on my wife's family farm out here, and we got our truck and trailer there, and we have a couple horses with us, so we're been camped out here for a couple days. This fence worked good. I was waiting to make the video to make sure it worked good. No reason it shouldn't have, but I'm going to talk through how I thought about setting it up and what we did to make it work. So our horses are already used to electric fence. That is a very important part of this. If your horses are not used to electric fence, you need to get them used to it before you do something like this. So here we've got a solar charger that runs off of a battery there. If you buy one of these, the battery will be inside of it. This one's battery died a few years ago, and so it's just easier for me to use one outside. This is electric rope. You can see how big it is there. Actually it's turned off so I can actually put it against my hand. It's roughly a 1/4 inch diameter. For horses, the bigger diameter the better. But also if you start getting a really big diameter, it's not going to fit on your spool. I definitely recommend a spool because you will have tangle after tangle if you try to wind it around your arm. Spools are not that expensive and they are definitely worth the money. Have a handle here. So on this one we had a gate already here, so I chose to use this gate to let ourselves in and out because this fence is made out of one strand looped all the way around. So I could have untied it here if I needed to and undone that handle to get the horses in and out, but it's really easier to have another gate when you're using one wire to make a 2-wire fence. So that's what I did here. I used one wire unrolled off of this to make a 2-wire fence. And if you look at what I have here, I have a part with nothing behind it here. And then I have a part with the barn behind it, and over here, other fence behind it. So as you can see here, back up a little bit, there's like 50 foot from that post to that post, but they're not going to push on it much because it's got a solid wall behind it. So that saved me a lot of post pounding to do it that way. But then if we turn all the way around, you look over here to the open area, I have posts. These two ended up just like 6 foot apart because I already had one pounded in right here before I attached the gate. So normally I would have put that one a little further over here and centered it between those two. But these are probably roughly 15 foot apart. These are about 20 foot apart. That one's probably 25 foot, 30 foot. That one's about 30 foot. Then you get down here and we've got a barbed wire fence behind it. Barbed wire and horses do not mix well. Barbed wire and horses make for big cuts and big vet bills. So I wanted to keep them away from the fence. It's about 1.5 feet away from the fence. It's close enough to it that they see the fence behind it, but they're not going to be trying to go through it and get on the barbed wire fence. We go back here, and same thing. There's a chain link gate there. I don't really want them getting tangled up in that. And then some hog panel fence back there against the trees. And the barn. I don't want them beating up the barn. I don't want them getting tangled in the fence. So that's kind of the thoughts I put into this to make it work with the wire I brought with me, with the charger, and with the post. There's 11 T-posts I used to make this work, and it actually worked quite well. One other thing I'll mention here is I use these caps on the posts, and I put those on every post that they could potentially impale themselves on. So right next to the gate here, I did not put one on those because I didn't bring enough with me. But this one here has one, this one has one. All these posts, T-posts that are out in the open have a top cap on them. Now these posts are a little too tall for that to be the ideal height. This one back here next to the other fence, I went ahead and used the top cap on these next to the barn because they aren't really going to push on it that hard. Out in the open area out here, I went ahead and used another insulator on the T-post, top and bottom, so I could bring it down a little bit from that height. If you got a little shorter T-post, you could just put it about that height right there, and that would work well. These are about 6 foot posts, pounded about a foot in the ground. So that means there's 5 foot sticking out, so you'd want your top wire at about 4 foot. This other one is at about the height of my knee. So depending on how high your knee is, that's roughly where you want to put it. I'm 6 foot tall, so you can adjust according to that. Roughly, probably 20 inches on that. 20 to 24 inches is probably where that bottom one's ended up. So I'll talk about how I strung it here. I started with the spool. Actually, I started with the end here and walked with my spool all the way around and hooked this bottom one on the insulators all the way around, clear around the whole fence, all the way back up to here. And on this fence post in the corner, I ran the wire up to that insulator and then followed it back all the way around, all the way back around, clear back up to here, and it's tensioned with this roll right there. You can kind of see it right in front of my pickup there. So you have to tension it there, and so you'll start pulling your bottom one all the way around and follow that around all the way up here. Just keep pulling it all the way through till you get all the way around the whole pin and back to here. Okay, so this roll has about 660 foot of wire on it. That's about all this roll can hold of the 1/4 inch diameter size. This wire is polyethylene. It's made to be rolled and unrolled. Lots of quality difference in one brand and one rope wire to the next. I will try to leave some affiliate links down below for some better quality ones. I'll put those in the description. I'll also try to leave gate handle and roller and fence charger and insulators that I think are good quality. They may not be the exact ones I'm using here, but they should be fairly quality ones. So I'll try to leave affiliate links to those. I am an affiliate with Tractor Supply, and you can order most of that off of Tractor Supply. If you get all of the material for this, I think you're going to be over their free shipping amount and be able to get that free shipping right to your door. But this fence worked well. We've had the horses in here, let's see, probably, I'm trying to think how long they've been in here. All of today, all of the day before, and half of the day before that. So they've been in here like 2.5 days. 2 horses that do not get along perfectly together. I would not want them in a smaller pen than this. From here across to here is probably 25 feet, something like that. And then from that fence all the way up to this fence is probably close to 50 foot. And we're probably 20 to 25 foot across here, probably 25 foot. So that's roughly the dimensions, 25 foot across here, 50 foot across this way, and then probably another 50 foot across this way, and then 25 foot across this way. And if you do all the math on all those, you're going to end up just short of the 660 foot. Now, if I had not had this 10-foot gate on hand here when I was traveling, I would have brought this clear over to this post, and my gate would have been right there, and I would have had to unhook this roller and that handle. Electric fencer's nearby, so I could just turn it off to unhook it not too difficult. So if you did not have a barn here, see, I use that as part of my fence, you would want an equal number of posts over here that we had over here, again 15 to 30 foot apart. So I would probably have 2 more posts in this section of 50 foot. Same thing on this one, probably 2 more posts in here, at least another post in there, and another post or 2 here and here. Posts just make it more solid, make it look more like a fence to the horse, and that's one of the main things, is that it looks like a fence that they cannot get through. If you look at this barn here, if a horse is looking at this, they are not going to think about running through that electric fence because there's a solid wall. Same thing down here, we've got trees and brush. They're way in the background are some of my family riding. We'll zoom in here and see if we, right there through the trees. There they come through the trees, right there. They've been out riding. So those are the horses we've got in the pen when we are not riding them. There they come across through there. Zoom back out. Also, this white and black fence, the horses seem to see it better than some of the other colors like orange. They seem to see the black and white better. It's been my experience and seems to work well for me. So I'm going to get ready to take this down now, and we're packing up and heading back home after a few days here. So I'm going to turn the fencer off. I'm going to unhook the reel here. Actually, probably I'm not going to unhook the reel. I'm probably going to start unhooking all of these insulators on the top, and I'm going to walk all the way along and reel up the top wire all the way around, completely all the way around the whole fence, back up to the corner here and take those off, and then reel up the bottom one. Now I could try to undo them all at once, let it all drop on the ground. In my experience, that's a horrible idea, because then you end up with lots of tangles and you spend all your time untangling fence. I would much rather spend my time riding the horse instead of untangling fence. So I hope this helps you know how to build a temporary fence for your horse, either at your own place or if you're traveling. All of this stuff, there they are riding out across there again. All of this stuff fit in the back of my pickup. These posts actually were already here at the farm, and so I used them. I bought some more to bring with me because I couldn't remember if those posts were actually here or not. But I bought 8 posts, and I was planning to make this pin a little smaller. But for the size I made it, I used 11. And if the barn wasn't here, I would probably, in these other fences, I would probably use like another 8, so probably like 16 posts total for the size of fence this is. And so if you do the math on it, it's roughly 660 foot. I don't know, I probably got 20 foot or a little more still on the roll, so that's a 660 foot roll. So you know, for ease of math, we take that in half, 660, that's 330. So 330 foot circumference pin is roughly what this made, and it worked well for the 2 horses. Now, if this pin was square, you could probably get away with a 50 by 50 foot, which would be 5 times 200 feet for each height. So that would be like a total of 400 foot of fence that you would need for a 50 by 50 if it was square. 50 by 50 is probably the smallest pin I would want for electric fence. 4 horses, 2 horses to be together. You had 3 horses, you probably need to make it like 70 by 70 to keep them safe. There again, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if your horses are not used to electric, I would recommend putting the electric against something like this with a solid fence all the way around the rest of it for them to learn what it is. My horses are very used to electric fence. They live in it all the time at home, and so this was safe for them. But if it was not safe for them, it would not be safe for them if they were not used to it. electric fence is a mental barrier, not a physical barrier. And if a horse gets scared, they have to have enough mental experience with this fence to believe that it's really going to hurt if they run through it. And if they haven't been in one a lot, they go, well, that's just a string, I can run through it. A couple other things I'll mention here. Using a solid wire, you can see here, to energize your fence has worked well for me. They do sell nice little clips with these types of chargers that are like a copper stranded wire that's insulated and got insulated little nice alligator clips you can clip on there. Those work well. I just haven't bought them, so I'm using this solid wire. The other thing, you want to make sure and ground your fencer. This is the hot, this is the ground. Also want to make sure this is not touching your fencer. That can ground out to the ground. And then your ground wire needs to be hooked to a good ground. I have it hooked here to the T-post. True electric fence aficionados would say that is not a good ground because there's paint on the posts. The best ground posts are galvanized or copper or brass rods. I guess brass, copper's too soft to be brass, or galvanized. But your ground rod is huge for the ability of your fence to work well. This fence just happens to not be very big. A lot of times I bring a separate ground rod and use that. I also have this fencer wired up to the T-post here so that it doesn't tip over in the wind, and we got enough wind last night it probably would have tipped over. So just a few different things. I'll try to leave affiliate links for all of this different stuff for you in the description, and let me know in the comments what questions you have and I'll try to answer those.